Award-winning filmmaker Ken Burns is tackling another big chunk of American history. His new film, The War, now running on PBS, shows how World War II forever changed our country and the people who lived through it. And Ken Burns is with us this morning. I watched on television last night on purpose because I wanted to feel like I was part of an audience watching. So many things come to mind, not the least of which is there's so many pictures here I've never seen before.
That's right.
How is that possible?
Well, you know, my co-producer and co-director, Lynn Novick, spent with her team years in the archives. Now, normally you do a documentary on Second World War, you've just got the greatest hits sitting there on top of the table. We went in and found the outtakes, stuff that hasn't been seen since it was shot. Turns out some of it is in color, original negative, that they just uniformly made this stuff. But it's also, Harry, it's also how you use it, too. You don't want it to just be what we call in our business B-roll. We're just illustrating. You want to have some sort of emotional archaeology that you're after, and I think the testimony of the veterans that we got were great.
This is very unlike most films in this regard because there are no historians, there are no old generals, there are no experts.
That's right.
This is really from the ground up.
The problem with the Second World War that for years we've just mediated it. We made it the good war and the bloodless war, and we mediated it by just having celebrity generals and having strategy and tactics being everything, or weapons and armaments, or Nazis. We wanted to find out what happened. These people are dying at a rate of 1,000 a day. If we don't record what they experience, what war is like, which is just as horrible as it is now, more. This was the worst war ever.
And the truth of their stories is, in my own father-in-law's case, 2 tours in the South Pacific, in the Marine Corps, never said anything about it except I got to meet Red Skelton at the Hollywood Canteen and we'd made hooch in 50-gallon drums and when the top blew off. But they never said what these men
are saying. Well, just think about it. You're 18, 19 years old, you go to war, and the thing about war is you're scared, you're bored, you're hot, you're cold, you see bad things, you do bad things, you lose good friends. How can you come back and explain it? And the guys who saw the worst stuff were quiet, and they helped to deal with it by making the funny stories. We had a guy who was in the Battle of the Bulge, and oh yes, we took over a French farmhouse, they had a wine cellar, we all got drunk. Ha ha ha.
And then but he was in the Battle of the Bulge.
But he was in the Battle of the Bulge, the coldest winter on record. All of a sudden, the bodies are being lifted stiff as cordwood, dumped onto flatbed trucks.
And help
this story
was never
comes
coming.
out, and the son says, "Pop, you never told us this." And then you know, if you're at the birth of express memory, that is to say, they've kept it inside, but if they're expressing it for the first time, then you got a tiger by the tail, and it's sort of hang on, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Well, it's you know, you are such a good filmmaker, and this is a testament to just how good you are. I want to play a clip that sort of gives the truth of what we've just been talking about. Just take a listen to this.
Going in to Iwo Jima, I was a squad leader by that time. And I always looked around and wondered now, how many men am I going to lose? Because we didn't know it was going to be bad as it was.
How did they come to tell these stories? Because you take 4 geographical areas, and it's really from Mobile, from Minnesota, from these different places. How did you figure out that as a vehicle to tell?
Well, we first thought maybe we could tell the whole story of this greatest cataclysm from one town. Couldn't do that. 4 geographical towns, and Lynn went in with her team and just started asking questions. Where are your archives? Where's that picture? Isn't it better to know about somebody who's landing at Omaha Beach if you know what his mama said to him, if you know the picture she has of him sitting on the piano, if you can triangulate in an emotional way, isn't that a lot better than just taking it from the top down and saying, and then General Eisenhower decided to do that? All of that's important and has been done to death. But what happens if these guys leave without us having heard them out? My dad died in 2001, and there hasn't been a day since then that I haven't regretted asking him more questions about what he did in the army in France. You know, I mean, this is the stuff. And so we've initiated, in addition to the film, some oral history projects with the Library of Congress that allow everybody to download some simple lighting and shooting instructions from us, sample questions from us, and go get great-grandma, great-grandpa,
and build your own archive.
And do this and send it to a republic, and then we'll have it forever. Because this is a film we couldn't have done in 10 years ago. They weren't talking. And in 5 years, most
they
will
won't be
gone.
around to talk.
And this moment will be lost.
All right, go to your PBS station, check your local listings. As always, Ken Burns, what a pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.